I am Doug Friedman.
And I am Meredith Levy.
And this is
your mental breakdown.
This is your co-hosts breaking themselves down
on the podcast.
You know why? Because we're recording late again.
That's why. We are loopy and tired. And I was in the sun for, I don't know, at least an hour. So that really wiped me out.
You know you're getting old when you're like, oh, I was in the sun for like an hour today and had to take a nap.
Literally. I think that happened to both of us, right? Yeah, I actually needed an umbrella after 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was, well, I wasn't even out for an hour. I was out and just like right back in. I mean, 90 degrees where I am right now. Like, ugh.
That's crazy.
I want 9 degrees, not 90.
Okay, well, it's like 79 over here.
It was nice. I just saw you yesterday. That was really nice.
I know, it was nice. We got to see each other in person.
And had all our doggies together.
Oh my God. It was so fun.
I did get run off the road by a granny.
Yeah.
That was so gnarly. You guys, I'm laughing about it now. And it was one of those things where I'm driving on Sunset. It's just an LA windy street. And I'm in the left lane. There's a van coming up really fast behind me and a car in the right lane that just started veering over into me. And I'm moving away from it, but I can't because I'm going to go into oncoming traffic on Sunset, and I'm holding my horn. I'm on the phone with my sister going, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm doing all this. And I wound up going into oncoming traffic because the person veering into my lane didn't stop.
So crazy.
I had to go into 2 lanes of oncoming traffic. So there was a car coming at me and I went left around it so it could pass me. And I wanted to cut right back in, but the van that had been going so fast behind me was in my way and I couldn't get back in right away. So I'm staying there, get back in, and I look to my left and it was a very old person, somebody well ahead in their years, who was then turning left far enough ahead that I could see her and just completely oblivious. Meanwhile, I've been on my horn the whole time and on the phone the whole time.
My God.
And faxing something to my lawyer and trying to balance the coffee in my hand while petting Beckett with the other hand.
And doing your makeup.
That's right. And shaving. I had a nice clean shave when I got there.
That's so frightening.
It was gnarly. Like after it happened, my sister was like, what was that? I'm like, and then I told her what happened. She was like, oh my gosh. And you were still on the phone with me? Like it would have taken another hand to hang up. You know?
Yeah. I remember my grandma, she was probably 90, I think, at the time when we were like, you cannot drive anymore, because I swear we'd be on the freeway and she would slam on her brakes to change lanes. And I was like, that is not going to work. Right. So, yeah.
I will say I have become a much more mellow driver.
Oh,
in
God,
my
me
teens
too.
in LA, forget about it. I was horrible.
Me too. The worst.
Even all through my 20s, I was still, I would like to say assertive, but I think people would probably classify as, asshole, aggressive. A little bit. I wasn't that bad, but when we were teenagers, we were all horrible. Like there's a guy a few years older than us named Robbie Anker. I don't know if you remember him.
Yep.
He patented this move where he would be in the left turn lane at a red light, and as soon as it turned green, he would just gun it and turn left in front of all the other cars. Right. We called that the anchor.
Nice.
That was just a very popular high school move. Do the anchor.
Oh my God. That's always a smart idea.
Such idiots. We were such idiots in cars.
Oh my God. God, I have great stories about what an idiot I was. Thank God I never hurt anybody or anything.
You crashed a bunch though.
People crashed into me or caused accidents. I've only ever rear-ended somebody once in my life. And that was because I was in a fucking rental car because of another accident where someone hit me. And I wasn't used to the brakes. It was when we worked together in the inner city. It was right in front of the building.
Oh my gosh. I remember that.
Yep.
I remember because it was a big deal. They were like, was she on the property or was she, like,
yeah. Like, take it easy, dude.
I think
No one cares.
I know you were telling me like, oh, they want me to go get checked out or they want me to do this and sign that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Please stop caring about me so much. It's all about me.
Don't worry. Nobody really cares about you.
No.
You're just covering their own.
Not really.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I started
Did you
watching
watch
that
it?
show. I watched the first like one, maybe 2 episodes. That's raunchy.
Yeah.
No wonder you like it. I'm like watching this
know.
going, of course Meredith likes this. This is nasty.
Wait, did you think it was funny though?
Oh, I was laughing. Yeah. of course.
Okay, good.
It was good. I'm still on the Big Bang Theory.
I hear that.
It's so nice, light, and easy. I think I told you right before we started. After my 5 minutes in the sun, I put on an episode and totally fell asleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, I passed out. How many episodes did I fall asleep for? How much did I miss? Oh, 8 minutes? Oh, okay. What a great nap.
So refreshed. Yeah, and good for you for being on that like binge because you have like what 400 seasons with like 400 episodes a season. You're stoked.
I know. I'm going to go with Grey's Anatomy next.
Oh my God. 17 seasons and counting.
Wild. All right. We mentioned napping. We both napped. I've heard people say, oh, I'm a champion napper. What's a champion napper to you? Is it somebody that can nap like anywhere, anytime for 2 hours, 2 minutes? Doesn't matter. Like
those people on a plane that I want to punch because I'm so jealous that they can just fall asleep sitting up.
Right.
Yeah. Neither one of us can actually really nap. Like you fell asleep for 8 minutes and I kind of maybe fell asleep for a little. I'm not sure. I had the dog and I was putting my feet under him because they were cold and it was perfect. Give us some napping tips if you can.
Will you sleep tonight just fine?
Yes, absolutely. I literally maybe nap for 15 minutes.
Yeah. For me, if it's more than an 8-minute nap, I'll be up all night. I won't be able to sleep.
Really?
Really?
I don't like napping because I wake up evil. I'm so pissed. I'm like drooling on myself. I'm just a horrible human being.
Do you nap right before we record? Because that would explain a lot.
Oh, you're so funny.
Speaking of so funny and napping, we had a short nap of an episode. No, not a nap of an episode.
No, but it was short. So you can kind of try and segue that way if you want.
Sure. It was short for you guys. It wasn't short for me because Drew and I still had a full session. In fact, what's weird is this was a longer session. We went, I think, over a full hour because of what we're talking about. But what you guys only get to hear is about 15 minutes of it or less maybe because it got cut off. It happens a couple times in this pandemic phase that we're in until we got our equipment out to Drew and he could record a little more professionally.
Right.
So you get a short one with him and I'll kind of break down the rest of what we were talking about. There's a lot of relationship stuff came into it. So we'll fill that in for you.
Okay. So you'll hear what you hear and then we'll be back and we'll break it down and Doug will fill us in.
Indeed.
I was actually kind of in like a mini episode today. You know, I kind of woke up depressed and just not wanting to go to work and not really wanting to do much today. And yeah, it was just kind of like one of those days. So yeah, it was kind of shitty, which led to a argument, not a fight, but an argument between me and my girlfriend. It's kind of adding to it now, and it's just like too much. And so I just kind of want to shut down and not do anything. And timing's everything. Right. Yeah, I think it's good to talk about it and live through it and try and feel it. And
absolutely. So let's move towards it. We'll get to the argument because that seems to be the trigger that's bringing more stuff up and compounding. There's stuff underneath. Let's go a little bit to that. First, there's a word you used that struck me, and I kind of want to see what it means to you when you say it, because it means something pretty specific to me when you say, I woke up and I had an episode. Explain.
I think I've been lacking more so a sense of purpose. Example, job. And so I think waking up this morning, I kind of felt a really lack of purpose, and that kind of set into my self-confidence. And it was a lot easier for me just to be like, well, I'll be an hour late to work and take my time and slow down, which really didn't help at all, made it a lot worse. I think the overall definition for me of what an episode is just a feeling of lonely. I think that's the biggest word that comes to mind, and just lack of motivation. I'm usually not like this. This isn't my norm and what I want to be. And so I think that's why I label it episode, because it's a small blip in my timeline.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it almost sounds like what you're saying is it's not the norm now. Because episode could mean night terror, could mean actual depression, like a depressive episode where I'm stuck in this, can't get out of bed. It permeates my entire being. And I think for you, episode is more like, no, it was like this chapter, like my life's this longer book, this huge book. And chapter 17 was this chapter where I was like, I don't like this job. I'm not feeling motivated. I don't really have a sense of purpose. Chapter 17 sucks.
Yeah.
There's a sense of when you're in a chapter that sucks, you're going to be a little irritable. You've got your old thing of like, I'm going to push you away, but I want you to come closer. Right?
Yeah.
Part of it might be, I'm having a hard time because I don't feel a sense of purpose. I don't like my job. I don't like what I'm doing. Not the woe is me, because I know you don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just a sense of like discontent, and having that discontent validated for what you're feeling, then looked at what you're thinking, but at least just validated is important. I wonder if you have even acknowledged that yourself enough.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so, and I think so. Kind of in between of those. I think this is also stemming from the Superman comic. A couple weeks ago, girls' night out, quote unquote, during quarantine. I wasn't feeling very good, and I kind of put up enough to be like, no, babe, go have fun, go be with the girls, like, just go have fun. This Saturday, I was going to Malibu, and I couldn't have stressed it enough that I needed a nice getaway, a good weekend, just to sit in the sun and be with girlfriend. And then we get there kind of late, maybe 1 or 2, and then we drink a little bit, having fun, right? And then all of a sudden, girlfriend, you can kind of see it in her eyes that I don't know if she was sick or if she drank too much. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt there, but my record tells me not to. And so within that, I felt really bummed that I couldn't even have a day to just kind of be and relax. And we ended up leaving pretty early, around 6. And that just kind of sucked.
I want to just get a little bit clear. We don't have to dig in, but just be a little clear that what you saw in her was she's not doing well, whether it's I drank too much or I don't feel well. And for you, was it I need to take care of her? Or was it disappointment? Yeah, I see you shaking your head. So it's more like, oh man, I thought we were going to have a night. We were going to have a day. We were going to be in Malibu. It was going to have this thing. It was going to feel good. And now that's ruined because you drank, because you don't feel well, or it's just ruined.
Yeah, I would say it's just more ruined because that was that was her first time meeting one of my friends. So I wanted that to go well. And then it was kind of mid-dinner when she got sick. And so, I mean, I was sitting down eating. I got up and I was like, hey, you okay? Do you need anything? Got her some water, kind of took care of her, but still went back and had my meal, kind of in that middle. I was like, she'll be okay. I don't need to drop everything right now to go help her. So that was good. And then, it got to the point where she was like, she fell asleep on the floor. And so I was like, okay, well, do you want to go home? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Was she drunk or faded, or was it just, no, she really wasn't feeling well, or kind of both?
If it were me to label it, it was drunk and faded.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, that sucks for me.
Does she know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think for me, staying organized at home is a huge thing that keeps me mentally going. And it's kind of like my safety net, if you will. Okay, my house is clean. I'm okay to go out and do what I need to do. And so Sunday, I really needed to sleep, and I had a long week, and I just needed a day to sleep and just be. And throughout the week, she was here, and she was like, "Hey, I'll clean the house. Don't worry about laundry. I'm on it. Don't worry about anything." I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Like, this is exactly what I need." And I woke up later Sunday afternoon to no laundry being done. The house is just a mess, you know, and I was like, okay, like I still need a rest. I'm not doing this right now. I still need a rest. So I slept through Sunday, and then last night I ended up cleaning. And so like you just put all those days together, and it's been very stressful. Small things, very small things that have compounded to be a bigger issue, which led to today of me not feeling that I was important enough. And then I was cleaning last night, and she was, "Why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you sitting down and FaceTiming me?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm cleaning." And she was like, "Well," and so that put me in a bad mood, and which led to this morning. It's just been a compounding couple of days, which I think led to this. And I think it's more of a triggered thing. And now today I'm trying to explain it to her.
Right.
And the reason I laughed when you said your old way of pushing you away and wanting more, it's exactly like to the T of what happened today. Kind of went left, and it flipped on me in the sense of, well, you never talk to me about your problems, and why can't you open up to me, and that kind of thing, which has really burnt me in the past. And so I'm very afraid, I think more than anything, to open up at this point. And when she's pushing me away, telling me you need to open up, I feel obligated, and it's not my choice at that point. And so I just don't want to.
It's tough. There's a lot of triggers going on there. And the feeling when you woke up, and the episode, as you said, right, is an accumulation.
Yeah.
And man, the feathers and bricks, the experience for you, and you're one of these Superman people. And I'll explain that in terms of the feathers and bricks. Most people, when they get bricks, feel the weight of it when they put it in their bag and put it on their back and carry it and keep going. That was a big thing. That was pretty weighty. Everybody right now took on a boulder with the pandemic. But bricks, again, will feel the weight, will know. Most people, feathers are like not a big deal. It's like, man, I hit all red lights on my way over here, right? Annoying, whatever.
Yeah.
But they'll take 12 of them and just go, whatever, it's fine. It's okay. No problem. Shrug, shrug. You keep going. And if you remember, the whole thing is what weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of bricks? It's a ton. And you don't recognize the ton of feathers because it builds, the accumulation builds slow and steady until you get that one feather that tips it over. That's the nature of a trigger. It's one feather. The Superman for you is a brick will feel like a feather because of what you've been through, what you experienced, and what you'll take on. And it's noble. It's also fucked up.
Yeah.
Because you'll just pile everything in there and you won't recognize you're taking that weight on. Things that you're quote unquote okay with, you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are bricks, you'll go, no, it's just a feather. Go ahead. No problem.
Yeah.
I think you're holding a ton with you. Some of it has nothing to do with girlfriend. Some of it is just weight that you've been carrying around.
Right.
Something that struck me is when you said it's the flip, because she's saying, you don't tell me what's going on with you. You don't tell me this. Now the flip for you is I've been burned, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, and that's not where I want to be. That's not me. And I think the hard part in that is, and I even said it to her, I said something along the lines of like I've been waiting for you to say XYZ, which that's not fair. Because for me, I don't want to be looking for that. I want to be secure enough in myself. And I think that's what really built up our argument, was that I kept, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need, and still didn't get it. And that for me was just like, okay, well, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to shut down. And then she said, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. And that's what fucked me up.
That's where you know this about yourself. She doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
How do we move towards this? Because there's an easy way this goes, which is, oh, she shut down. Fuck you. I'm going to shut down until I get what I want. And that'll reinforce it's okay to shut down. She shut down too. All right, I'm out. Might be she just kind of was like, all right, you're going through your thing. I'll give you your space. Cool. We don't know. What do we do now that at least you and I have some recognition of what's going on? It's partly you use me as your support, as your sort of guide to your integrity that you can tap and touch and go, oh, Right. Now that I know this, okay, here's how I really want to be and what I really want to do.
So, all right, we're back.
We are back. Welcome back.
Thanks. And to you too.
Aw, thanks.
Drew started out, it was funny because he started out sort of saying how he had kind of like a mini episode today.
Yep.
My first thought was, what are you talking about? What is an episode? Like episode is one of those things I think of as like a word from the 50s, maybe when someone has a seizure, like epilepsy. And
sure.
They were like, oh, she had an episode.
She had influenza. And she was hit with the consumption.
Exactly. And I think about it. Whenever clients say episode, or they'll say a meltdown or an incident, and I'm always like, let's, not just surmise it with a word that just sounds so negative, or not that it's fun to ever have a quote unquote episode, but what does that mean?
Yeah, it's not necessarily negative. I mean, everybody out there right now is listening to an episode.
You're such a dork.
So episode could mean many things.
It can, totally. Yes. And you clarified it, but I think we get sort of connected to these words, and a lot of people, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but a lot of people will say, I'm really depressed. And I'm like, are you though? Because like, are you sad or are you so depressed? And if you're depressed, that is a huge continuum. So what do you mean by that? Are you kind of meh? Are you just meh? Or are you, I can't get out of bed, I'm feeling suicidal? Is this related to something?
Yeah, as therapists, we're listening for, is there something clinical going on?
Exactly.
Is there something with your chemistry? Is there something beyond your control?
Right.
Or that's not just situational?
Right.
If you had a fight with a girlfriend, or if you're just a little tired and you're a little upset and you're a little depressed, okay, that makes sense. You could even be more than a little depressed, but there's a cause and effect to some things, which we've talked about before.
Right.
When somebody's talking about being depressed and what that's like, that means something different. If we make it the same as depression and being in a depressive episode, then we minimize what it's like for people. And I don't think that's fair.
Right.
That's when people just say, hey, why don't you just like get some sun? Why don't you go out and jog? Why don't you just take a shower? Why don't you just do this?
Right.
Why don't you just fuck off? That's not what it
Totally.
It's.
And that's the other thing. Usually I would say with my clients, like being in a severe depression, they have no idea why. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just cannot get out of bed. I have no motivation. And then because of that, their lives will be negatively impacted. So there are things that will happen because of that. Okay. So, and I can't get out of bed, and now I've gained a lot of weight, or I lost my job, and then it just sort of spirals. Right. But it's usually not, for most of my clients, severe depression is not situational. Right? Yes, your girlfriend broke up with you and you're so sad. Are you severely depressed? No.
Well, right. And you might be feeling really depressed. Okay.
But you have to define what that means to that person. What does that mean?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. The semantics of you and I talking about this, people might be hearing this, and you guys all have your own relationship with feeling depressed or feeling sad or even being depressed, right?
Right.
Okay. For us as therapists, and I even said it, like you used a word, and I just want to make sure I know what you mean by this.
Yeah.
Because when I hear the word episode, it means something to me as a therapist. Right. And I want to know what it means to you. Are you describing like, I had a night terror?
Yeah, that's actually what I thought he was sort of talking about first.
Right. And there, I mean, for him too, there was something I think kind of cool about it. It's never really cool to feel depressed.
Right.
But for him, and I said it, or he said it, or maybe we said it, it was sort of like a little like anomaly. It was a blip in his timeline, and it stuck out. It's not his norm anymore to just be like this all the time. Like, okay, cool. We're recognizing that. Yeah. Great. He did describe, and it was pretty situational. I'll let you go because you hate when I jump in and take the chronology away from you.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think it started with an argument or an incident that he had with his girlfriend. And then he just woke up feeling even shittier, but going back to the argument.
Yeah, he was talking about initially, like he described a feeling of disconnect or discontent.
Right.
I mean, it might have been both. It might have been feeling like some general discontent and feeling disconnected from her.
Right.
But it was like, well, what was going on? And he described the day in going to the beach in Malibu, like, cool, we're going to have a getaway. And it's going to be like, good weekend, sit in the sun, chill.
Yeah. And he even said, I could not have been any clearer. I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Right. He's been talking about it the last few weeks about just feeling so burnt and even finally telling her that I'm feeling burnt. So great. We're going to go to Malibu, have a nice beach weekend. Like, cool. Great.
And then I guess she potentially drinks too much. He definitely said he wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. He wasn't sure if she drank too much or if she was sick.
Right. Or both.
Right. Then she was laying on, I kind of got confused. Were they at a friend's house after that? Because then they were at dinner all of a sudden.
So they had the beach day and they'd been drinking at the beach, or she was.
And then they went to dinner with his friend or something.
Yeah. And it was, I think they were at his house or something. They weren't at a restaurant because he was like in the middle of dinner. She got up at some point and felt sick. And then it was just like passed out on the floor.
Right.
And then he goes into that mode, that Superman mode that he referenced this time, which I thought was cool, of taking care of everybody.
Well, he actually even said, though, he said, I mean, I just got her, asked her if she wanted water. He's like, went back to my meal. He's like, it wasn't like urgent. I didn't do anything huge at that moment. Right. He was just like, okay, well, I'm going to go back and eat. And then it seemed like he was just disappointed and was like, all right, fuck it. We'll go home. But it sounds like the next day was... The
disappointment it was growing. We can see the accumulation, right?
Right. It kept snowballing because she was supposed to do laundry and clean and...
Which she offered to do. Like, and he's big on acts of service, right? You know, that's one of his love languages. Like, he loves that. Like, great. Like a few weeks ago, and he's like, yeah, she had dinner ready for me. That was awesome. That helped me out so much. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I love having a clean house. Oh, you got the laundry. You're going to do that? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. This is great. I'll be able to rest and just chill. Fantastic. And then it doesn't happen.
Right. So she doesn't do anything. And then he ends up doing it. And then she got annoyed because he wasn't calling her because he was cleaning. And then she's like, why are you cleaning? And he's like, are you kidding? And then he just said that just like put him in a bad mood. And he felt like he wasn't important enough. Right.
We talked about like the feathers and bricks, the accumulation of stress and these things. And I think a lot of what we witnessed was, there is that accumulation. I mean, we were hearing it right there. Like, this stuff is building.
Right.
It got to the point where it was just really, really difficult for him. And then it led to an argument. He was still pretty triggered. It wasn't like when he's talking with her, he's like, cool, let me just talk to you rationally and calmly and tell you what's bothering me about this.
Right.
Because he had the buildup and he was pretty frustrated.
Yeah. And then he also said, then she kind of flipped it on him and was like, well, you never talked to me about your problems. And he's like, well, he said like he's felt burnt in the past from it, but also he doesn't want her to know all the shit.
I mean, that's something that for him, it was so weird to hear her flip it. Like, wait, now you're shutting down. I want to talk and you're shutting down.
Right.
And he just didn't know how. And there was something, then eventually it gets cut off, what you guys heard. And I remember, and I could hear a lot of what we were talking about was the nitty and gritty of the relationship and how he was in the relationship. And he was focusing on, well, is she the one? And I stopped him for a second and just looked at like, okay, but are you the one? Meaning like how you want to be in the relationship. We've talked about for a while on the podcast, being the son you want to be to his parents. They might not be the parents he wants them to be, but he's going to do his side of things.
Right.
So we're looking at, well, how do you want your side of it to be? in the relationship, being how you are instead of focusing on her. And yeah, he wants to be vulnerable. And there's just something there that he still admits is going to take courage. And with that, the fear that he doesn't know how she's going to respond. And he's still not really well versed in how to tell somebody some of what's going on, but not the whole story or shutting down.
Right.
Right.
And it made me laugh when he's like, I don't want to talk right now. She's like, okay, bye. Have a good day.
Right.
And he was like,
wait.
What the fuck?
And he even said like, but I wanted her to chase me, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I wanted
totally.
You can't have both, man.
Yeah.
Like, how do you want it to be? And how do you want to be? And that's
right.
It's something that he recognized the irony of like, oh, right. I think he even said, I'm holding back. Like I'm only showing her things that I'm comfortable with.
Right.
Oh, wait, that's not real vulnerability. Like he got that. An analogy that you guys didn't get to hear that I used here. We've talked before about, and everybody has heard, bringing your baggage to a relationship, right? And I think even once with Drew, we talked about like, okay, what's your actual baggage? Like, can you lay out all your clothes on the bed and see what you're packing into your bag, right? And this was something where he realized he was like crafting the baggage that he shares. It's like he just packed like a weekend bag or a carry-on bag.
Totally.
And that's it. Like, here's what you get. It's just this curated stuff. And it's like, yeah, I guess, I think he was saying he was scared to go deep into stuff. It's easier just telling people that he's fine.
Right.
Which, if you remember, he even quoted this too. He was like, yeah, what does fine really mean? What does that stand for? You remember we talked about this?
Yeah.
Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yeah. And it's funny because the baggage analogy is so huge for me, because there is definitely a hesitation on my part. Like, when do I start traveling with someone I'm dating? Because I am the biggest overpacker in the world. I get so anxious when I have to only pack a little.
Right.
Because it takes so long for me to whittle it down. And those people who are like, well, I'm going to New York. Monday, I'm going to wear this. And Tuesday, I'm going to wear. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? What if you wake up Monday and you're like, no, I don't want to wear that, you know?
Sure.
So where's the balance between, well, do you throw all your shit out right in the beginning? And here I am, and here's all my mess and my baggage and my crazy. Or you're authentic, but you don't have to tell everything right away.
Yeah. I think that's something that we've got to figure out and learn, because that idea of just show them your best self. Like, okay, you want to make a good impression. But I hear from clients of mine that are dating and friends, oh man, she didn't call back. I knew I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. I'm like, wow, what about just being yourself? That way there's no second guessing. And if they're not good with it, fine. They're not good with you and who you really are and how you really are.
Right.
Great. Find that out now, rather than when you've only shown them what's in your carry-on bag, and 6 months, 6 years down the line, they see the rest of it and like, oops, I'm out of here.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of just putting it all out there right away, and not necessarily like
too much. Though.
Yeah. Not on a first date, not on your dating profile. I mean, I've seen people do that, and clients of mine have been like, yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I think more than anything, it's having the vulnerability at some point in your relationship to really say who you are, showing them all of your clothes in the analogy. Here's what's in my suitcase. Here's what's in my closet.
Totally.
You don't have to look at every single outfit figuratively in my closet.
Exactly. Well, if you're dating me during COVID, guess what? I wear sweatpants. So that's all you're going to get.
Which means you probably have a closet full of stuff.
Oh my God. So much stuff. It's just, we have to decide when we want to reveal and let everyone else see. And you don't want to wait too long, but you don't want to throw it out there day one. It's a balance.
Yeah. You don't want to take your first trip with somebody and just have a little tiny carry-on bag with not much in it. And you don't want to take 2 freaking huge suitcases with you.
And you don't want to take a tiny carry-on for your first trip. And then once you get to your second trip, you're like, and now I'm going to fuck you up with all these suitcases. Now I'll let you see.
Oh man. All right. We should wind down, because this is our loopy hour where we just get loopy and keep talking.
Yep.
If you want to get loopy and keep talking with us, find us on the Facebook group. We've got discussion threads for the episodes. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are on Friendster. We are on MySpace. We are on...
Oh my God, I forgot about Friendster.
Right?
We're on Craigslist.
Oh, man. Find us out there. We'll be there for you in some form or another. And we'll be back with you next week. And oh my gosh.
What?
This is our last episode for the next, wow, we're taking 6 months off? Because today is April 1st.
Right.
April Fools.
Oh my God. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, wait. Is this planned? Are we actually taking 6 months off?
No, we are back. But when we come back, we're going to have a brand new client and nobody's ever going to hear any more about Drew ever again. No, it's April Fools.
Okay. You know what? You guys should see my face right now. I keep being like, what?
Do you know, like, April Fools used to be my favorite holiday, still is, and I would mess with everybody so that people would not pick up the phone when I called them on April 1st.
I believe it.
Because they knew I was going to do something and just get them. And I can't believe I totally forgot this entire time we've been recording.
Damn it. You could have been throwing shit out this whole time.
Meredith will be back with you next week. I'll be taking a couple of weeks off, but she's got you. She'll be doing this all by herself.
Myself. I'm actually even doing the sessions with Drew, so that's fun. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.